Welcome to the Captain's Clash Europe, everybody. So, the next tournament, and we have once again the top teams playing here. So just to give you a few information about the tournament, we have 6 teams that play in total, and as you can already tell from the name Captain's Clash, the format has been used obviously in the past, not only by this tournament, we used it in Meta Madness and a couple of other tournaments as well. Teams were essentially formed by captains that drafted their team out of a player pool. There's an auction system in there as well, so that you had to really think about, okay, who do you want to get? But this is shaking things up a little bit because you don't have predefined teams that go into the tournament. Now in total we have 6 teams. The first round of the tournament is a full round robin where they are all playing against each other. The top 4 teams then advance to the playoff bracket, and the lower 2 teams, they drop out of the tournament. So this is essentially what we have. To my knowledge, I'm actually fairly sure, but I might still be surprised here, but there are no draft rules, so you can actually pick whatever you want. So no, hey, you can only play hero once or anything of the sorts, but kind of looking forward to that. There's also a couple of names which you might have already seen just looking at the screen right now, of players that we haven't seen in a little bit. That's one of the nice things that you have, of course, with a captain's draft, because you can sign up as an individual player. You don't have to have an entire team, you know. Maybe in the past, like maybe you just find a couple of people to play with, but you don't have a 5-man, don't want to organize anything. But in a captain's draft, you can just simply sign up for the player pool, and then oftentimes you get drafted in. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. Also, these are all best of 5 matches, by the way, so I should probably have pointed it out a bit earlier, but these are all best of 5. So going into this, we have less matches than you would have when we go through several group stages or when you have qualification tournaments, so we can start right away with best of 5s instead of beginning with best of 3s. And we start things off with Garden of Terror, so a pretty big map, which means that we now have the Haka taken. Hogga has, by the way, not been banned out. Also, I should probably point out, this is the Lily patch now. I'm not quite sure if that's the official name, but I guess that's what most people are calling it, because she got buffed pretty significantly. Has, of course, still the same problem that you can't target her heals. Now, I think those buffs are pretty nice for casual players that don't play in a competitive environment. If she really makes a difference in a competitive environment, we'll have to see. And then, of course, there's all of these knockback changes that we also have had implemented. Alarak, we'll see how much of an impact he's going to have here. But as we're going into game number 1, we start things off with Diablo and with Tyrande here. Noteworthy again that Hogga so far has not been banned or picked. Normally on Garden of Terror he's definitely one of the side laners that gets discussed. The Haka, as usual on the big map, provides you with plenty of opportunities to jump into a big team fight and create a temporary number advantage. Vikings get banned. Yeah, it's a little bit of a sad one. It's kind of cool to see Svamgrota again on the screen here, so that's already for me a bit of a win. And yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. Somebody actually just said that it's a best of 3s after all, so I think initially I was told that it's best of 5s, but they might have changed things, because there could be... I actually think there's 4 matches today instead of 3, so I think there might have been a change. Or I misread something, so I'll take that back for a second. Early stage of the tournament, probably best of 3s. We have 4 matches instead of 3 today. Either they changed something, or I accidentally clicked on the wrong rule set at some point. But yeah, either way. I'm going to clarify it also before we're heading into the next one. But for now, we got Blaze, we got Garrosh. So you have already your triple frontline established with Mayefia and a tether into the roots. And then we have Hogga, so also triple frontline on the side of Team Disciple. Interesting to add Hogga now to the Haka, so you have 2 fantastic side laners for Garden of Terror that can really help you to run the map a little bit. And if you execute a proper combo with Diablo and Tyrande, maybe even assisted by the Haka with a lick, then you can also get all that burst damage from Chromie out. So yeah, not too shabby. Over on the right side, our final pick on Garden of Terror for the red team. So what are we getting for our first map? It is Greymane. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Team HasuObs against Team Disciple. First map, let's go. The blue team on the left, Team Disciple, with the man himself, the captain on Hogga. We get Ubi on the Haka, Morenas on Chromie, Scorch on Tyrande, and then Snaps, which is, as far as I know, Nagrom. So he's playing Diablo. Honestly, I wish we would still live in the days of HGC, where there was so much money to be made for the top players that you could also force them to play their main accounts. having all of these Smurf accounts coming in time and time again is really frustrating. But over on the right side, we got HasuObs on Grey Main. We got Johan on Garrosh. We got, for now, also Hunter Org on Malfurion. Gavlo is playing Maiev. And then Swamp on Blaze. So, good stuff. Let the games begin. Exactly. Yeah, Diablo already hiding in the bush. Evil. Evil incarnate. And I'm really intrigued by that front line that we have for Team Disciple. Because normally when you have a triple front line running, you have other side laners. You have like maybe Imperius is there, Thrall is there, you know, Maiev, any of those. But in this case, we have actually two proper side laners. We have Hogger, we have Dehaka. Now, of course, both of them offer quite a lot, not only in the bigger scheme of things on the map, but if you're thinking about adding additional CC, the pick into Hogger is something that with the Shockwave can contribute, but normally you would see a different choice here. So we have a roaming 3-man from Team Disciple that also falls back into the mid lane whenever they have to, but that allows them to technically try and gank up on people and go for kills. And then we have two side laners that are very good at going for camps as well. Now for now, Team Disciple starts this off with the 3-man that they have here, but Dehaka is already on his way to potentially the camp over here. We have Hogger continuing things at the bottom of the map too. So as far as the picks correspond to the maps, this one is an interesting one. Because both of these heroes can offer you a lot, not only on the clear on minion waves, but also mercenary camps. And of course Dehaka then has the global on top of that, which can really help you too. And Disciple, as a player, has of course made quite a few waves with his team in the recent tournaments. Doesn't matter if you talk about the Anniversary Cup or the Murky Cup. They did extremely well there and surprised a lot of people. So, yeah, Murky Cup in particular, of course, duh. But right now, he's the captain of a more random team, and we'll see what exactly they can pull off here. Obviously going up against some veterans on the red team side. And we already have some spicy shots fired here all across the board, with Ubi just holding experience at the bottom of the map. Swamp sitting tight there too, going straight for the money pick. Like, the days are long past where Swamp just puts fear into the hearts of the opponent with his Murky. But I have to admit, I would be more than happy if at some point he would bust him out. I just think that the chances that we're actually gonna see a Swamp Murky are very, very close to 0, but let's face it, it would be hilarious. There was a time a few years ago where people would actually ban Murky on certain maps against teams that had Swamp because they knew that he would like to play some of the more wonky side laners if he had a choice and a chance. But yeah, I don't think that in a tournament that is as tight as this one, we're gonna see that happening. If you have right from the get-go, oh, that could be a kill. Nice, but Garrosh with a great play, or this would have been the first blood of the game. If you have a tournament where there is a little bit more, a little bit more leeway for the teams in the earlier rounds, let's say, for example, you're starting things off with a group stage that has a winner and a losers bracket, then it's a little bit different, because they then very quickly end up in a situation where you can take some risks, since you know you still have that losers bracket if all else fails, or if there's even on top of that also last chance qualifier, then you know there's multiple ways for you to qualify for the playoffs. This one is a little bit more tricky. There's obviously downsides to this particular format as well. One in particular, which I guess for the audience could be an upside, is that normally as you're approaching the end of the round robin, a lot of the teams are already safe and know that they advance, or some teams might know that no matter what happens, they will not participate in the playoffs. And then it can easily come to a situation, you know, where teams don't take the game seriously anymore, where they're just funning around a little bit, which can be entertaining, but it can also be a little bit So, yeah, all of those formats have advantages and disadvantages, but one of the advantages in the early stage of a round robin, as we have our first blood kicking in, Disciple goes down. One of the advantages in the early stages is that teams are very, very eager to really fight tooth and nail for every single map and every single point, because they know that if they lose out, like if they take too many risks in the earlier stages and they lose out on a couple of points, it can really come back to bite them. So they take at least the early round robin stage extremely serious most of the time. Which is also, of course, when teams that are formed through a captain's draft are not that familiar with each other just yet in most cases. I mean, the top level play, people usually know each other, but you will still see teams scrim, train, practice, and then certain synergies evolve over the duration of the tournament. And there are oftentimes teams that maybe have a bit of a rough time initially, then maybe change their shot caller or change up a couple of roles or whatnot. And all of a sudden you see them just clicking and doing way better than before. And this is something that we might see in this tournament too. For now, we don't really have a whole lot of power levels. This is our first series, as I already pointed out earlier. We have first blood for Team HasuObs. And of course, now we are having level 10 kick in for both of the teams as we have a tribute on each side. Garrosh goes in with a Warlord's Challenge. We have a bit of pressure against the boy at the top. So, yeah, at this point, the wall is slowly getting destroyed. The Haka wants the lick and does not get it. Here comes the Shockwave from Hogger. As already expected, again, they want to chain a little bit more CC here. So Horde Pulled would have surprised me with the comp that they're playing. In addition to that, we got the Lightning Breath. And we got Starfall for Toronto. Okay. Right. Scorch with the Raccoon Mount. That's actually kind of cool for me that that we still have like a couple of the Raccoon players jumping around here. I really hope that in the next tournament where we use again predefined teams, we're going to see the Raccoons too. They might not have had as big of a splash as Team Rip in the recent tournaments, but they are mega entertaining. And by the way, with the Murky Cup, I should probably point this out too. I've sent all of the prize money out and of course all of the bounty money. And it was really surprising because there were a few teams. So the normal prize pool went to the top 3 teams, right, with the Murky Cup. And then you had the bounty pool. There were quite a few teams that got more bounty money in total than teams that found themselves in the top 3 and got proper prize money. So shows just once again that it really pays off when you go for bounties and you complete some. In total, we had 47 bounties, like bounty points. That means completed bounties and also the lost bounties that give half a point. So we had actually quite a bit, and teams got a fair amount for every single bounty point they logged in. So really cool format, super entertaining, lots of fun, and it just shows that it pays off if you're playing to the rules. You go for some bounties and not simply for the tournament victory, which is obviously important as well. But yeah. So this one is kind of important. So far the teams have actually not been doing too much here. We have 2 kills to 0, that is definitely true, but outside of that, as only tiny leading experience, we haven't had massive issues forced. There is of course a level 13 advantage is now about to drop in for the red team. But at the top, it seems like it's going to be a freebie for the blue team. Are they going to get a curse here? Or Garden Carrots, sorry. Not that easily. But this is the one where they have to pay attention. And, well, that's... Was he interrupted? I mean, either way, I didn't see the interrupt. But at this point, they get the Garden Carrots. I was sure that the red team would contest this a little bit more aggressively, especially since they had a level 13 talent advantage. But they decided not to, and decided to let the opponent just simply take it. And now it's just a question of how much Team Disciple can do. Diablo! Well, with him about to die, probably not all that much, but he's still alive somehow. Ridiculous how long he survived. He dies eventually, but damn, that lasted forever. So finally he falls, but whew, that was wild. Up at the top, we now have the attack against the next fort. This one is already taking damage down at the bottom of the map. There's also a defense going on as the Haka is trying to push Blaze back to get some fort damage in as well. But up to now, it is mainly the top side that has taken tons of damage here. So this one is nearly gone, and they're still trying to do some extra damage down at the bottom of the map. Maybe even also pick up a kill. Diablo and the barbecue. But Dibbles himself is also in trouble, and this time he doesn't have his soul stacks anymore, so this means he's gone. He bought a bit of time for the team, of course, and also for the Garden Terror to take this fort out and notch. And that is now 2 forts that are very, very nice disc. Just stopping the Hogger a little bit further. But yeah, kind of funny. I mean, at the end of the day, the two forts have taken a lot of damage, and that was obviously the main objective. We have Greymane on 30,000 damage, 17,000 for Blaze. That means that Blaze is currently matching the damage output of Chromie. Just to give you a bit of an idea there. And yeah, more importantly, one problem that of course the blue team has is that their opponents are now on level 16 talents any second. And that is a significant lead in experience. It's bridgeable, but that is definitely something that you should be worried about at least a little bit. And now the Haka trying to push the bottom of the map. Taking those forts out would of course be pretty great for them, because that would mean that the passive experience increase for them would help them to catch up a little bit more. And I think this is going to be the first one to fall. Blaze is definitely going to be too late to deal with this. So yeah, that one's gone. And as long as they can hold their own at the top lane, they should be fine there and start to close that gap slowly. With level 16 talents, we get the Moonlit Harmony. Lord of his pack is in as well. The Juggernaut plating for Blaze. And now it's Team Disciple who picks this up as well, which gives us Celestial Attunement right there. And we got the Headbanger. But the next seed is up. The position pretty good for the blue team. Gavlo, another player on Team Raccoon usually, is also using the mount. Trying to aggressively jump in here and see if they can maybe make a play again, but so far that's not the case. Maiev also had to move towards the top because the minion wave that was accumulating up there was starting to threaten the fort, and you want to hold on to that as long as you possibly can, of course. So that's another seed for Team Disciple. And more than anything else, this puts you now in a spot where you don't have to worry about your opponent that much. It's not like the red team is about to hit an objective here. But what they are trying to do is attack that keep or that fort at the top of the screen. So, yeah, right there. The defense is still in play. Hogger against Blaze again in the middle. But it has slowed down slightly. I mean, this is not really a massive kill-heavy game or anything. We have 4 kills to 1 in favor of the red team, but because they lost the first objective, they have taken the backseat regarding their position on structures. And with the help of Chromie, you could really try and take now that top fort out too. So it's all about positioning around the seat. There's also a big camp now pushing at the bottom of the map, with Catapult soon joining. But this would of course be a nice one for either team if they can lock in a second seat here and take a bit of a head start on the next set of Garden Terrors to put pressure on the opponent. Yeah, red team is also a little bit low here, but Chromie is not able to connect the final few hits, and nobody is channeling anything here yet either. But they are starting to take those protectors, those guardians out. And yeah, seems like Tehran is actually gonna be able to get this one. So another seat taken by Team Disciple. Yeah, their objective control is extremely nice. That's 5 seeds taken in this game already, to the 1 that we see from Team HasuObs. So the red team, at least on the objective, not doing too well. Nice shockwave. Disc is out, and Disciple able to poke away, but the Haka is dead, and Diablo, yeah, plus Chromie, they're not looking too hot here. So that's already 2 heroes out. Now they're trying to go for the next one. Diablo is about to get eliminated as well, and that is 3 heroes gone in total. So really nice position for them now. Yep, the Haka got killed, and after that they take Chromie out, and then they start chasing Diablos, and now they have the upper hand of the top lane, which allows them to take the fort down. So with 7 kills to 1 and more than a 1 level advantage, this is really starting to take a bit of a different dimension here. So now you are really struggling a bit. When it was 4 kills to 1, you could always argue, yeah, but they're controlling the macro game better, which I guess is still the case. But right now they are suffering a lot more in those team fights, and also suffering a lot more from the increased death timers, which is another huge issue that they have. Level 20 talents will give the red team a significant boost. They can pick up, first of all, the seed for free, but they will also take more structures out. And just like that, they are ahead in structures. So this puts them into the driver's seat already. As down at the bottom right, we got Svamgrota on the channel. He went straight into the fortified bunker. 40,000 damage now for Greymane. Yeah, and 27,000 for Chromie. So the blue team is playing this really passive, as they should. They're just trying to get the experience, which they desperately need. Storm Talents are, of course, the next big thing here. We have Nagrom on Diablo, killed 3 times in the game. And then comes Hogger, with 2 deaths. They can still turn the game, but first they need level 20. And the one problem that they might run into is depending on when exactly that seed at the top spawns. So trying to get a few more minion waves, as Hogger currently does in the middle, and the Hogger will in a moment at the top, is really necessary to allow them to go to Storm Talents. Defending the fort at the bottom of the map, yep, in an ideal world you would obviously like to do that too, but let's face it, the chances of them pulling it off are fairly slim. So this is also a slight problem. Disc is out, in comes the flank, shockwave, isolation, they don't have level 20. It's close, but it's not there. They don't care. They take Malfurion down, but Hogger dies. Diablo gets also pushed around, bullied, and killed. And they lose the fort on top of that. Now Diablo, in this case, he had the soul stacks, so he is back. They can fight for the seat at the top. Whichever team decides this one will claim it. But again, still the little caveat that in the last fight, Team Disciple actually decided to make that flank play without them having their level 20. And it seems that the red team just doesn't give a crap about anything that remotely resembles the objective. They let it go again. The lanes are pushed out, so I assume this is a bit easier to defend. But I mean, that will at least give a bit more lane control back to the blue team. So they probably figured, okay, if lane control is everything that they're going to get, then we're happy with it. The Haka. Yeah, he was hiding in the bush, and now he's realizing that this is most likely not going to be the best position for him. He is able to make it out, though. And now they're trying to go for Greymane. The stun, nice. Blaze gets pushed, has the bunker up in a second, but first to fall is Greymane. Now they go for Garrosh, and they will get him too. So the flank from Team Disciple, I like it, and this gives them 2 kills with pretty big death timers on the side of Team HasuObs. And honestly, that one was big. That will allow you to do some more structural work. The fort at the top is already destroyed. In the middle, the defense was going on well, but this is now a full 5-man push against 3 with an objective. So lots of good points for Team Disciple right now as we talk about this. And they should be able to open this up as well. What started off as a bit of a trap from Team HasuObs and very quickly turned into a trap from Team Disciple. Or just a great reaction. I mean, again, they might have seen it coming at some point and made sure that they had heroes around. But they were there so fast that the red team was caught with their pants down a bit. So now we're going to the next fight. And the one thing that they have to make sure that doesn't happen is them losing more heroes. But Greymane is back. This keep, though, likely gonna fall. Maybe they can defend it. Hogger. Yeah, too much CC. Hogger gets killed, and the fort or the keep is also still in play. So it's a little bit of a wake-up call for Team HasuObs. That definitely was a bit awkward, at least initially. But right now they're doing a bit better here. They didn't lose too much, aka they didn't lose any of their keeps, which is of course what you are trying to hold on as best as you can. But yep, let's see. We have down at the bottom of the map some catapults already pushing in. They're now 19 minutes in. Oh yeah, gotta take care of those. The Haka, that is still one of the aces that Team Disciple can play. That they have a global here. It must be a bit disappointing for the blue team that they had 2 objectives now and they are behind in structures. That's not where you should be. If you get a few more objectives, that would normally do way better for you. Like, again, they should have taken a keep out, for example. That would have been pretty big. But right now, that's not really what we're seeing here. And, yeah, time will tell. Down at the bottom of the map at this point. Yeah, we still have them sitting tight here, going from camp to camp to camp to camp. If you look at the experience distribution, for example, you also see that on the mercenary camps, Team HasuObs is doing better. And arguably did something that shouldn't really happen if you're running Hogga and Dehaka on this map. You should on mercenary camps be pretty alright, but they have an issue with this. But it's all about the team fights now. Diablo pushed in again, used a lot of terror already, trying to keep himself alive. They make the play for Greymane, and he's gone. The old man destroyed again, and the Hunter Hawk is totally lost here. So that is another kill. Team Disciple with 2 kills. So this is the opportunity to again run the momentum. And Diablo, did he go too deep? The answer is, yeah, he made it. He made it. Close call, but he was able to get out. They have to take that fort out. I mean, again, you're 5 versus 3 right now. If you're not getting ahead in the game, then you're just playing the video game wrong. We have down at the bottom of the map the play from Hogga as he takes a few more camps here in the middle. They're now making moves for that fort and drop that too. There's another seed up that they should take as well, even if it's only to deny it to the opponent. But of course, you would love to get that keep at the top. I guess they're running out of time to make a move for it, but that would be something that would be a huge accomplishment to take the keep out. But it is intense. I mean, we're 21 minutes into the game. We have 6 kills to 10. And it's an intense first map. Literally the first map in this tournament. So we'll see how the teams play this one out. But everybody wants to start this off with a good... Yeah, with a head start compared to other teams in the round robin. Gavlo, nice. Double checks everything here. Damage output, we got 46,000 from Chromie. Greymane is on 54,000, Maiev on 48,000, so they're all fairly close. The top 3. A few more camps are up, and now they're catching up in mercenary experience, of course, too. It's actually fascinating. The only one that hasn't died yet on the blue team side is Tyrande. On the other side, we have Blaze and Maiev in that role. Diablo again, a little bit careful here. Gets hit by the bullet. Hard. That this is out, but he's fine. And the rest of the team is already starting to chase. They get a stun, and they kill Greymane again. HasuObs is just getting farmed at this point. I think the last 3 deaths were against him. So they target him pretty clearly in these battles whenever he engages. And is right there. They're going for him. There's another free seed. And you know what? With the camp at the top, this should be a keep. I mean, right now, you have a great opportunity to take that topside keep out. And that would be the first one to fall. If you get a couple of follow-up kills, I mean, even better. Lord of Terror gets used. The barbecue! And it's a dead Garrosh. Yeah, that's huge. That is huge. 5 versus 3. Keep is gone. They want more kills. If they get another one, they go for core 100%. They're already trying to go for the core. But it will be a done deal if they find another kill here. They should still, one way or another, be able to do some damage. The question is just simply how much. Can they take the entire thing down? It's only 8 seconds until Greymane is back. And I don't think they can, unless they get more kills. But it hasn't quite worked out that way yet. And nobody's really attacking the core, though. They nearly removed the shield, and then they were like, yeah, you know what, how about we don't? I would have loved for them to at least take a few points off, but yeah. There was still some shield remaining towards the end. But it was, of course, a bit of a shock moment. So, another seed. Guys, this is actually getting slightly hilarious. 8 seeds in this game have been taken up by Team Disciple. Only 2 have been taken by Team HasuObs. If the blue team gets now another one, then they had 3 turn-ins. Well, 3, you know what I mean. Malfurion is dead. I mean, HasuObs and his team, they're falling apart a little bit, aren't they, all of a sudden? They were dominant in a lot of the team fights, and most of the time Team Disciple was just able to barely get 1 counter kill. Now it's a totally different picture here. It seems like kill after kill is being picked up by the blue team, and the opponent is struggling to deal with it. So, over on the left, this is going to be the next set of Garden Terrors, and if you are Team Disciple, you want to end the game with that. Now you've pushed the lanes already out, so this is going to be much more early aggression from Garden Terrors. They don't have to move the entire map, exception the bot lane, fair. But yeah, I would expect some aggressive plays for a game at this point, at least for another keep. So they're coming in here, trying to set this up again for a little bit more damage. Yeah, that keep likely going to go down. And the Garden Terror is already on its way towards the core. So So there's multiple areas that need to be protected by the red team, and it's going to be difficult enough as is. But with another keep falling, it also means more catapults. More and more pressure, more catapults, and of course they are hoping to end it all right now. Catapults are pushing for the core. Garden of Terror from the middle is still alive. Here comes the play for Hogger. Stuns. Nice move by Garrosh. And Hogger is gone. The core is losing a couple of hit points. The Garden Terror is still doing damage here. They could try and right-click that thing, and they should. 50%, 40%, looking great, 20, and Team Disciple with the victory in game number 1 of the best of 3 series. GG and well played. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Battlefield of Eternity, our second map in this best of 3. Alright, so the lead taken by Team Disciple, and I have to admit that I cannot remember when I've seen the last time a team take 3 objectives on Garden of Terror. Kinda crazy. Like, 3 objectives. Now you can always argue, oh my god, it took them 3 sets of Garden Terrors to finally win the game. But it was kinda crazy. And for Team HasuObs, I have to admit, it's a little bit weird that some of the seeds they just let go. Some of the decision making that we've seen from Team HasuObs on the last map, I found personally a bit questionable. When you have a lead in experience, you have a talent advantage, and the seed spawns on your side, I would at least try to delay it. If not fight for it, I would at least try to delay it. And it felt like oftentimes they just didn't care. Now there were a couple of objectives where it really felt they didn't care whether or not there were Garden Terrors in, because they just figured, hey, it's too early in the game. The sides aren't pushed out too much yet. But yeah, still an interesting one. Now besides that, the one thing that I'm personally curious about regarding the tournament is how much of an impact the recent patch has. When this hits YouTube, by the way, when you guys watch this on YouTube, the patch has been out for a little bit. So we'll be curious to hear what you think were really changes that impacted the daily games that you have. I mean, it's always a little bit different, you know, when you're playing the random quick match, Hero League or whatnot. And then when you're looking at a more competitive environment, being that the amateur scene of Heroes Lounge or being the top level here. But obviously, which patch changes have actually had an actual impact and which ones just did look good on paper but didn't actually change a whole lot of things when you look at how the games play out. So for the top level tournaments, this is the first one that we have on that patch, so we'll see if there's any big surprises happening here. Yeah, Chromie banned after the performance on the last map. They don't want to deal with her again. Same true for Hogger here in BOE, and we get a very early pick into Chen. I like BOE. It's such a shame that some teams ban it out. We have a very early pick into Hanzo, so again you have tons and tons of damage on the Immortal obviously with this, and then Li Ming and Chen on the other side. Also, again, if you watch this currently on YouTube, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. I get statistics, how many people that regularly watch the videos are actually subscribers. And the number is shockingly low. So yeah, my birthday is coming up soon. We can work on that. We get Diablo and we get Blaze. That's a beefy front line right there. A few more Diablo picks here. I like it. Game 1, Game 2. But the Chen pick in particular makes me happy. Chen is a fun one. Chen can be very, very entertaining. For sure. So, Lucer gets banned. By the way, we talked a bit about respect ban, Chromie, Hogger. But then you look at Garrosh and he has also been taken out. So, there were some really strong moments from Hogger in on the last map. But right now, our final ban. I mean, Disciple is at some point also going to bust out his Orphea. You know that already. It doesn't necessarily happen here because they already have Li Ming, so technically this would then be a double mage play, which we very, very rarely see. But I'm just saying there is still the option for Disciple to at some point bust out his trademark hero. We get Tyrael for Nagrom, and then yeah, Malfurion is in. So with Malfurion you can now technically go even for Tracer if you want to go for some overheals, for example. Yeah, and over on the right side we need a healer, and we of course also need a bit more damage. Greymane for one of the teams, maybe even here for Team Disciple, might not be a bad choice either, honestly, now looking at immortal damage. But Greymane is already taken away, so seems like the red team agreed with my assessment there and said, you know what, not only is Greymane a fantastic hero for them, it's also a pretty good hero for us. So how about we just take him ourselves? And yeah, nicely done. They have Hanzo, they have Greymane. It's a good one. It's a good start for this. So, what is Disciple going to spec into now? It's Sophia. They go for the double mage after all. I thought he would wait, but nope. Double mage for Team Disciple, playing heavily around the cooldowns as we are going into our second map of the best of 3 series. Match point, obviously, for the blue team. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Battlefield of Eternity. The blue team, they definitely prepared themselves, and when it comes to the draft, it will be interesting. They went a different route than what we normally see here. For Disciple, we get Orphea. We now have Scorch on Malfurion. Nagrom is playing Tyrael. We got Ubi on Chen and Morenas with Li Ming. The double mage combo for the blue team, as over on the right side, Team HasuObs starts with the captain on Greymane. We got Svamgrotta on Blaze, Hunter Orc with Brightwing. Johan is playing Diablo. And then we got Gavlo on Hanzo. So, let's go. Let's see what we're gonna get from the teams. I mean, the one good thing if you play a double mage is if you coordinate everything well, then you can easily get some kills. There's a lot of burst damage that you have. So let's say we get Judgment, we get a Malfurion follow-up on the roots, if Li Ming and Orphea are on point, they should be able to get some kills here. One of the areas where it will be a little bit dicey is of course the objective. Because right now we have Greymane and we have Hanzo on the red team side. So a race is not possible for the blue team. It's just not a thing. Any time that they are just racing with their opponents for who's faster on the Immortal, they're going to lose that battle. That is undeniable. So Team Disciple has to go for the team fights and then really win those and then go on the objective. Which is something that you can of course do. I mean, we've seen this in the past. You don't always have to go for it. But yeah, we'll see how this is going to work out with the first, maybe second objective, and from there on we'll have a pretty decent idea of where this one is headed. But right now, again, just a little bit of early game. Don't underestimate Disciples. Orphea is probably what I would say at this point. Too many teams have made that mistake and they dearly paid for it. So here they already isolate Diablo, and he gets slapped by Orphea. Nice. The schoolgirl came in and dropped him hard. No schoolgirl skin on this one, but regardless. Yeah, that coffin smacks hard. Orphea is strong. That coffin is mega heavy. This is why it does so much damage. That coffin is... I mean, that coffin contains all of the lost dreams and hopes of the Heroes of the Esports Pro scene. HGC is in there as it got killed off by Blizzard. And yeah, you know, all that top level play. So it's all in there. That's why this thing is so insanely heavy. And when you get hit by that, oof, hopes and dreams from hundreds of players. I mean, obviously that hurts. That hurts a lot. So yeah, that explains all the damage numbers from her. With level 4, what we're getting is the Backbiter. Don't threaten me with a good time. I mean, hello. They get the stun on Tyrael. Yeah, but they don't get the kill. Svamgrotta, on the other hand, a bit low, but he dodges out some of the damage here. I gotta say, if I bite you and you bite back, that's just fair. That's just fair play. Fair play or foreplay, depending on how you look at it, but still, like, either way, it's alright. So, the halftime show victory goes to, shocking, the red team. Who would have thought? Hanzo gets killed again, and this is really what it comes down to. Greyman is already starting to do a little bit of damage, so I think the early objective is very likely going to be taken by the red team, because the death timers are just a bit too low. If you're consistently able to get kills, then you can do, of course, a lot. So if you're getting consistently kill after kill after kill, then you're going to be able to do a whole lot as the game continues. But in the earlier stages, when the death timers are fairly low, you won't be able to do too much, because while you are still trying to do damage on the Immortal, your opponent's already back with 5 and is moving back in again. I gotta admit though, Team Disciple is doing way better on the first objective than I expected them to, and they might actually win that bad boy. So even with Hanzo firing away, the defense is set up very nicely. They are also closing in on level 7 abilities, and they have Li Ming doing an enormous amount of damage and likely win the objective. So even with them being in a bit of a weird spot regarding their damage output on the Immortal itself, they've been able to pull it off. Immortal number 1 goes to them, so the objective gets claimed. Blue team is able to pressure the top lane a little bit, and we'll see how much damage they can actually do. It's level 7 versus level 7. I don't expect any miracles here. Take the wall out and get a few hits in on the fort, and you can already call that a win. But just taking the first objective is already big. As I said, if they are the ones winning team fights, then for them, the late game is more attractive, because death timers are going to be a bit bigger. Noteworthy that Li Ming did not go for that glass cannon build that we oftentimes see on Battlefield of Eternity, where you're just trying to poke from afar, but goes into full-on fight mode with Calamity, which is obviously the go-to build to go for still. And you know what? That's half of the hit points gone, just roughly. That's a win. That's good. That's actually well done. That's a very, very nice start for Team Disciple. You win the first objective despite your team composition. You're getting 2 kills against 0. You take the wall out. You drop 50% of the fort. Solid. Solid start. And they have, of course, the lead in the series. Now, this is, as I said before, a full 6-team round robin. And then we'll see which teams make it to the next round and which ones drop out. But right now, Team Disciple is off to a decent start here. Now, don't underestimate the red team, of course. We have like tons and tons of top players in there. But it is always interesting to just, like, you know, figure out the power levels in a captain's draft tournament right at the beginning. Talking also about power levels, seems like, oh boy, Hanzo is a little bit powerless here. And goes down. They went deep for that kill, and they get the 4-2. Team Disciple, I have to say, that is some sexy play here. They pushed this deep, they got the kill on Hanzo, and now they're also starting to get to level 10. They took the fort out, so that was huge. That was really big. And they're going for another kill. Svamgrota is dead at the bottom of the map after the rotation. Greyman is dead too. The red team is getting spanked a little bit. They're getting whipped around here. So, yeah. Not liking that too much. 5 kills to 0. I mean, if anything, I'm a little bit shocked that they didn't go to do some damage on the fort. But of course, they could have gone for their camp still. There's also now the objective up. But you're up against level 10 now if you're playing for the red team. So that is definitely not a comfortable position to be in. The halftime show at a minimum should go to the blue team. Team Disciple is going to get that. If they get more, they're going to be mega happy about this. But yeah, this is great for them. Here now come the level 10s for the red team. So this is where things are starting to get really interesting. We have Sanctification, by the way, over Judgment, despite the fact that they're playing the double mage card. Yeah, Hanzo's arrow so far not used. Diablo, just coming in full on with the barbecue breath. Arrow, mainly dodged. Malfurion in the backline got hit, but he's going to be fine. And that Immortal goes down. Guys, and that's 100% on the shield if they're grabbing it like this. Diablo is dead as well. That makes matters worse. They're trying to isolate Hanzo, and he is completely caught here and gets wrecked. Stick that bow where the sun doesn't shine, baby. So that's 7 kills, 2-0, and a full shield immortal. I gotta say, the red team is in some trouble. Currently, Team Disciple is going through them like hot butter through cheese and is just crushing them. I mean, it's gonna be a fort for sure. I guess they've opened the wall up on the keep, but that is clean. Just clean. No other way to phrase it here. So, some rough moments for Team HasuObs. They're not looking good here. Nope. They're getting destroyed. They're getting absolutely dissected. If they can somehow chain their CC up and maybe get a kill back and gain just a little bit of momentum, might be able to pull that off, but they missed the jet propulsion. That was a big one. Still an arrow from Hanzo, technically, but just look how quickly that wall disappears. That keep is going to take damage. If they get kills here, they're going to take the entire thing out. Level 13 talent is now giving the blue team another advantage, as if they weren't already far enough ahead as is. We are 9 minutes in, and the keep has now officially taken some damage, as the chase is on. More barbecue moves, and Ophia dances out of that, as they are trying to turn the fight. Coming back in here. Sanctification is also still up, by the way. They go once more for Diablo. The arrow. Beautiful Sanct. That arrow. Oh my god. It's still flying. Woof. Duck in Texas, please, if you're right there. That thing has endless energy. That's going to make a couple of turns around the globe. Beautiful Sanctification. I mean, he waited for that arrow. He was just sitting there saying like, alright, the second that arrow comes out, we're gonna make a play for that. And, well, right now, let's see. I have a little bit of a problem currently because my mouse does not work. Ah, yeah. Like, I don't know what that was. My mouse disappeared for a second. I was like trying to find it, and I didn't, and it didn't move. Like, I'm not quite sure what happened. It works again. I was like, that is the weirdest bug that I've ever experienced in my life. I was like, did the game crash? No, we're totally fine. I was like, something... yeah. Yeah, in case that you didn't know, I actually observe all of these games myself. So there's no observer that does that for me. Finally a kill! Tyrael gets taken down. Now, obviously, if you go to, if you go to an offline event or whatever, you have observers there. But for everything self-hosted, all the observing is done by me too. So that was a bit of a weird one. But yeah, finally they got a kill, and the timing was actually pretty decent as well. So Tyrael is down. That gives a head start to the red team, pushing for the next objective. We have 40,000 damage nearly from Ophia and 28,000 from Hanzo. So the blue team is going to try and get some damage in too. But the halftime show has already been won. Despite the big lead in experience, Team Disciple needs to be a bit cautious now when they're talking about the third objective. Ophia is already doing some damage, but we have, of course, Tyrael back, so that's a 2-level gap between the teams, and the stats advantage alone is already big. Yeah, Chen is going to be fine. Again, he has also his keg. He can also always move out. Catapult and Camp are moving through the bot lane, so that's big. Team fight over here. Yeah, pops up. Immediately the bunker out. Maybe a little bit early here. A lot of ults still available, specifically on the blue team side. And the bottom keep is now in trouble. They are able to get away from the jet propulsion. Bottom keep is about to fall. Bottom keep on the red team is about to go down. And they're losing the team fight too from the looks of it. Right wing wants to save Diablo and does. Can they both escape though? Diablo is still not out of the woods yet. He's trying. It re-engages and gets wrecked. Diablo is down. Greymane is dead. Sanctification wasn't even needed. And the keep is now gone as the core is starting to get attacked. It comes at a bit of a price, as at the top I think it's fair to say that Ford will likely fall, but that's a price that they're more than willing to pay. And of course they not only lock in level 16 talents, but in addition to that they're now also able to get the objective once more. I mean, tip to the hat, Team Disciple with some absolutely fantastic plays in this first series of the tournament. So they are shaking things up already right from the start. When you're looking at the captains, at the team names, the first indication is of course always who's the captain of the team, who do we have here. And if you then see like an old established veteran, then yeah, that's always a pretty good indicator for a strong team. But who knows? Maybe the times are changing. Maybe it's the new ones that are now coming in here. Disciple and his team are certainly wreaking havoc here, making the play. And well, with that we now have 9 kills to 1 still. We have to play for the final keep in this game on the red team side. Team HasuObs in trouble as Johan comes in again, looks for opportunities, wants to create them for the team and can't. The double mage play that we're seeing from Team Disciple is looking powerful, and they're going for the core. They want this game. They want the points. They want to get a fantastic start into this tournament, into the round robin, and it's looking awesome. Hanzo with a good arrow, stuns out 3, but the core loses its shield, and I think this is going to be all she wrote. This is a disaster right now for Team HasuObs. They're losing Diablo, and now they're losing hope and hit points. That's game. Great performance from Team Disciple in a well-deserved victory as they take the 2-0. GG.